Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. So, this was a pretty fun day. First of all, I had an old friend and his wife come out to visit. Rick and Tony. I hadn't seen them for quite a number of years. They're in the military. He's about to pin on major, uh, so that's pretty exciting. And it was really good to see them. Good to hang out with them for a while, and maybe eventually he'll retire soon and he can take on a project like this. Although he's not really very good with the tools. He usually gets a hammer right, but after a few drinks, I've seen him even get that wrong. But I don't hold that against him. Anywho, Jeep wise, it's been pretty exciting. I got all the carpet. I think I had that last time we talked, but got all the carpet in there, and um, next on the list is going to be to put the carpet on that back section there and get the amps on there, get all the wires and stuff run for that. All the wires are back behind that black board there. I just got to make it happen. And up here, got what I hope. Let's see if I can get some light. Hold, please. Yeah, there we go. So there's the EV controls control board right there. The connector for it right there. And there's about 15 or so wires to it. You can see a twisted pair there, a little pink and white twisted pair. That goes between the EVC and the drive unit. The drive unit itself gets all these wires for the accelerator. Looking at this now, it occurs to me that I probably gave myself a little bit too much slack on that, but it's so much better to have too much wire than not enough wire. I can always curl this up, zip tie it, and stuff it away. But anyway, so I had to kind of do some rewiring because this EV controls control board, whenever it sends a command to do something, to like a contactor, to open a contactor or whatever, it sends a positive 12-volt positive signal. Now the StealthEV controller, it would send a negative. It would send a ground. Now, sending a ground is much more traditional. Like, that's just generally speaking how all things are controlled. So all the relays that are in the Jeep fuse block, they're all controlled by a ground signal. So, you know, so basically what I'm getting at is everything that I had that needed a signal to control to do something with it, the pre-charge relay or the positive relay in the center there. I don't know what else. The reverse lights, like there's a relay that I have to run for the reverse lights. But anyway, I have to put like 4 relays in here so that whenever the EV controls controller sends out a 12-volt positive, it goes to that relay, and then the relay gives ground to whatever I have, like the fan for the inverter, the fan for the drive unit. It runs through a relay in the Jeep's control, in the Jeep's fuse block, and it needs a ground to make that relay happen. So I have to have a relay to send ground to that other relay. So it's awkward. And if I'd have started out with this EV controls system, I'd have probably just started in the Jeep fuse block and sort of rewired it there. But that's just not how it worked. So that's no problem. I just went on Amazon and they've got these little circuit boards with some little micro relays on them. Since there's going to be virtually no current going through these relays, you can just use little bitty ones, and I'll just tuck those away up underneath there somewhere. In fact, that's what all these are for. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty neat. One thing I do have a problem with is now that I don't have a liquid cooled charger anymore. I've got an air cooled charger. I don't need to have the drive unit water pump running. Previously, the drive unit water pump was also the charger and DCDC converter water pump, but neither of those components are water cooled anymore, so I don't need that pump. to come on all the time. And what I mean by all the time is, of course, whenever I start the vehicle and want to drive, of course that pump needs to come on, but I don't need it to come on whenever I plug in the J1772. So the Orion BMS, it sends a ground signal to activate something. So I just have to basically figure out a way so that the drive unit pump is only on when the drive unit is on. Now the Orion doesn't know. Is that true? I don't know. I may be able to go into the Orion and use one of its multi-purpose outputs to give me a ground only when the vehicle is on. I don't know. I'm going to have to check that out. Anyway, that's something I got to figure out. But that's okay. I can do that. I mean, honestly, if I made it this far and I get stumped by that, that's kind of silly. If nothing else happens, I can just put another relay in that control box so that it gives ground when I want it to. So that is certainly doable. But what's much more exciting, and I don't know if this is because I'm just really, really lucky or really, really good, but that is the battery put back in the engine bay. And I was worried about, let's get some light here so maybe we can get some get a little bit of light on just how how tight things got. So there's not a whole lot of room between that Prius steering gearbox and the battery. Dude, it's really, really tight, especially down the bottom. There's like I mean, that's obscene how close that is. So, yeah. Whew. So that's cool. And then down, I'm not sure the camera's going to pick this up at all, but sort of same situation. Can we get down there? Yeah, you can see the shiny thing that's reflecting back right now. That's the top of the charger. You can kind of see, yeah, there's the red, and that red extends all the way across. But you can't really see. Well, yeah, you can, actually. That's actually a pretty good view. It's really close also. I'm kind of annoyed that it's crooked. And it's not so much that that's crooked, but this battery box is actually sitting in here crooked. So anyway, I don't care. It fits. And there shouldn't be a whole lot of vibration, like at all. The chassis itself is going to flex, but I think it's just going to flex torsionally, like twisting, clockwise, counterclockwise as we're looking at it now. I don't think it's going to... it shouldn't ought to like in the middle. But even if it does, and that battery happens to hit the charger a little bit, it'll just hit a little bit, and it's only a protective guard on the charger that it will hit, and that'll just kind of deflect a little bit or whatever. Something will give. It shouldn't break anything, but I don't think it's going to move too much unless I jump this thing or something. I don't plan on doing that. But I'm extraordinarily happy that fit in there. As far as servicing goes, this is, like I say, this is a Brusa charger, and I know that these things just work. They work really good. I've got it connected at the moment to run off of CAN, so the Orion will, effectively charge it, I hope, or control it. So the Orion's going to control when the charge stops, and, I guess that's good. I don't know. Or alternatively, I can just program the Brusa to stop charging when it's time to stop charging. And that's also good. That's what I do with my Ranger. And it's probably what I'm going to do with this, just for simplicity's sake. So I'm just extraordinarily happy about that. Yeah, man. And I think pretty sure I got all the wires connected where they go. And I do believe that I'm going to have to get with EV Controls whenever it comes time to try and start this thing for the first time. I think the drive unit inverter board needs to be flashed, and I'm pretty sure that they do that. What do they call it when they log into my computer and do their magic. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. So next thing to do, I've still got some work underneath to do. I've got to put the reservoirs back on. I need to go underneath the two radiators and put those in series, because I'm just gonna have the two radiators doing all the cooling for the drive unit. If it turns out that I need another radiator for the batteries, if they get hot in the summer or something, then I can always put it, go underneath right here and put a long radiator or something. I don't know, and it'll just be kind of tucked up out of the way. and it'll do the cooling for the batteries if I need it. I have to put another pump in the back for the batteries. Previously, I just had the single pump up front, and it would circulate water through this front battery box really well, but it would not circulate it through the back battery box. So I'm going to put another pump back there just to kind of boost the volume of water through it, just to keep it keep the water circulated back there. And yeah, I got to do those two things. I don't know, there's a few other little things that I got to do, and we'll see if we can't make this thing do something again, and hopefully with less drama and less sparks. So, good day for me, and I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.